The first cake arrived on my 7th birthday. No one in my family had ordered it. It appeared on our front porch sometime during the afternoon, sitting neatly inside a white bakery box, tied with a thin red ribbon. My mother found it when she opened the door to check the mail. "Did you order a cake?" she called to my dad. "No," he said from the kitchen. The box had my name written across the top. Daniel. Just my first name, nothing else. No last name, no address, no card explaining who sent it. My parents looked at each other for a moment. Then my dad shrugged. Probably someone from the neighborhood. Inside the box was a perfectly decorated chocolate cake. 7 candles, exactly 7. My mom laughed. "Well, whoever sent it knew how old you are." So we ate the cake, and for the rest of the day no one thought much about it, until the same thing happened again the following year. On my 8th birthday, the doorbell rang around 3 in the afternoon. When my mom opened the door, no one was there, only a white bakery box, red ribbon, my name written on the lid. This time my parents exchanged a longer look. "Did you tell someone about last year's cake?" my mom asked. "No," my dad said. Inside the box was another chocolate cake, 8 candles, perfectly arranged, just like before. That was the moment my parents realized something strange was happening. But at the time, it still felt harmless, a little mysterious, almost funny. Someone out there knew my birthday, and they were sending me a cake every year. But what we didn't know yet was that the cakes weren't meant to celebrate my birthday. They were meant to remind my family of something. The first note arrived on my 10th birthday. Like always, the cake appeared at the front door. White box, red ribbon, my name. But this time there was something different. Taped to the inside of the lid was a small piece of paper. 3 words written in neat handwriting. "He remembers." My parents stared at the note for several seconds. "Who remembers?" my mom asked quietly. No one had an answer. My dad tried to laugh it off, probably some weird joke, but neither of them looked convinced. Still, we ate the cake, just like we did every year. When I turned 12, my dad finally tried to find out who was sending the cakes. He waited by the front window the entire afternoon. At 3:17 p.m., the doorbell rang. My dad opened the door immediately. No one was there, only the cake, exactly like every year before. But something else happened that day. That night, my dad drove to the bakery whose logo was printed on the box. The owner looked confused when he showed them the packaging. "We didn't make that," the woman behind the counter said. "Are you sure?" my dad asked. "Yes," she pointed to the logo. "That's our old design." My dad frowned. "How old?" She thought for a moment. "About 20 years." The cakes kept coming every year, age 13, 14, 15, each time with the same box, the same ribbon, the same handwriting. And every year the note changed slightly. "He remembers. He will remember soon. Not long now." By the time I turned 16, my parents had stopped pretending the cakes were harmless. The note that year contained something new, a photograph. The picture showed my family standing in front of a lake, my mother, my father, and a small boy between them. But there was a problem. The boy in the photo wasn't me. My parents argued late into the night after that cake arrived. I could hear them through the walls. My mom crying, my dad whispering angrily. The next morning, they sat me down at the kitchen table. "There's something we need to tell you," my mother said. Her voice sounded tight, like she had been holding the words back for years. "When you were little, there was an accident." They told me about a camping trip 17 years ago, before I could remember. A boy had disappeared near the lake. A boy who had been with my parents that day. A boy named Ethan. Ethan was 3 years old when he vanished. My parents said they searched for hours, then days. Police, volunteers, search teams. The lake, the forest. Nothing. No body, no clues. Eventually, the police assumed the boy had drowned, but my parents never believed that. The strange part came next. Ethan would be your age now, my father said quietly. I looked down at the photograph again, the boy between them, the one who wasn't me. Except he looked a little like me. My parents decided to do something they had avoided for years, a DNA test. The results came back 3 weeks later. My mom opened the envelope at the kitchen table. Her hands were shaking. She read the paper once, then again. Then she slowly looked at me. "What does it say?" my dad asked. She swallowed hard. "It says Daniel is not our son." On my 18th birthday, the final cake arrived. White box, red ribbon, my name. Inside the lid was the last note, 4 words. Now he remembers everything. Beneath the note was another photograph. This one showed the same lake from years ago, but the picture was taken from behind a tree, like someone had been watching my parents, watching the boy, watching the moment he disappeared. That night there was a knock on the door. When I opened it, a man stood on the porch, older, gray hair, tired eyes. He looked at me carefully. Then he smiled. "You look just like him." "Like who?" I asked. "My son." My stomach tightened. The man glanced inside the house where my parents were standing. "They told you about Ethan, didn't they?" I nodded slowly. He sighed. "I've been sending those cakes every year." "Why?" His voice became quieter. "Because 17 years ago, your parents didn't lose Ethan." The man's eyes moved from me to them. They took him. The silence that followed felt heavy, and for the first time in my life, I realized something terrifying. The cakes were never meant for my birthday. They were meant for his.